Good evening to you, friends. Greg Merriweather here with you. My partner Elizabeth Bow is off. We begin today with new developments on a story that the I-Team broke this morning. A top-ranking state trooper arrested and accused of domestic violence is now out of jail on bond. Our chief investigator, Chris Nakamoto, was in court as the trooper faced his charge. Chris.
Good evening, Greg. State Trooper Lieutenant James Jefferson was wearing a bright orange jumpsuit standing next to his attorney as the court granted him a $10,000 bond. Despite this being a domestic violence arrest, there were no conditions placed on his release. Louisiana State Trooper James Jefferson III is facing a serious felony charge tonight, following an incident investigators say happened between him and a relative who we are not identifying. Throughout the police report, the alleged victim told investigators nothing happened. Patty Freeman is the executive director of the Iris Domestic Violence Center and has seen cases where victims can often have a tough time.
It's traumatic. It's obviously their life is altered. With their path, what they foresaw for themselves is going to be different, but it's going to be better. They're leaving violence in a violent environment, and often with children who aren't going to be exposed to that any longer.
Freeman was also in court as the trooper stood before the court commissioner, Jermaine Guillory. Arrest reports indicate police got involved when a woman on the phone with that relative called for help after hearing things escalating. When Baton Rouge police showed up, the relative denied that anything happened, but detectives say they observed fresh scratches to Jefferson's hand.
These are allegations. This case hasn't been tried. His guilt or innocence hasn't been determined. But in a situation where a police officer is accused and has committed an act like this, it's abhorrent to law enforcement. Victim-wise, there are so many reasons, not excuses, reasons that they would not come forward.
The report goes on to say the person who called police heard the victim screaming help. Arrest reports indicate surveillance video was obtained, and the victim was heard screaming, "He's punching me, and don't throw me to the ground." Defense lawyer Ryan Thompson is not involved in this case, but is familiar with civil rights cases and the public interest this case may generate because a member of law enforcement is involved.
What I would want to see is that this officer, this trooper, is not treated differently than anyone else. If there's an allegation of force of violence or children being involved, usually you see ankle monitors put in place, protective orders, and then I have questions around whether or not this person is going to have access to firearms. It is very concerning for anyone, the citizens of this parish, the state, that a high-ranking state trooper would be in trouble with the law.
Freeman understands those sentiments. Although she recognizes victims can be hesitant to come forward, she says that it's paramount for them to do so, and Iris is always a resource.
We get calls at any hour of the night. We have a 24-hour hotline. A human person answers that phone and goes into action immediately to provide the services needed for safety first. We have a shelter, the largest in the state of Louisiana, shelter organization. The answer is not we're full. The answer is we're going to find a way.
If you know anyone who is in a domestic violence situation, Iris is there to help. You can call their 24-hour hotline at 225-389-3001. The trooper in this case was placed on administrative leave. He's due back in court in May. Greg?
All right, Chris, thank you for that one. All right, let's get you outside right now.